Uh-oh. Ah, ah, ah. Uh-oh.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home Impodcast time.
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present a Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam Yule, my co-host Jordan. Hi, Jordan.
Adam, how are you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. It's a longer layoff from conversations between us, so I was missing you this morning. I was making sure we were recording. I didn't want you to bail on me like you usually do.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, I wish I could say the feeling was mutual. Just kidding.
Ouch.
Just kidding. It was. I've been thinking about you every stinking day. Mostly in,
that's a little awkward,
relation to when are you going to start editing the writing I sent you?
2 days ago. I'll have you know I did look at it,
Okay.
and I have some thoughts on line spacing, but we'll get there.
Okay, cool. Should we hash that out on air?
Probably.
People like hearing about line spacing, right?
It's one of the more sexy topics of the day.
Okay, cool. That's what's up. Yeah.
You recently gave me feedback on Space Force, and I'm glad to know I'm not like crazy.
Oh, hey, I finished it. I'm done.
Oh, good. Was it still? I think you initially said it was like a B-. Is it still a B-? Is it a C-?
Okay, it's good that you're asking me this because I was thinking about whether or not my grade changed, and I would say that it remained at a B- throughout.
Ups and downs type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Space Force podcast, so let's settle in, dive deep. What are my thoughts on it? It's like, I think the best thing it has going for it is that it's about 25 to 30 minutes. So, like...
It's a good length, that's for sure.
Yeah, that worked for me. And I think, we watched, like, 5 when we got back from Houghton Lake, because we were just kind of tired and, I don't know, just sort of an easy binge. It is never, like, super funny, but there are enough jokes throughout and kind of amusing things happening that it kind of just keeps you going. There's also...
I feel like every once in a while, too, there's something that's super funny.
I guess I didn't feel that way, but
yeah.
There's definitely a lot of clunkers in there. Like, it's a high shot rate. Like, they're trying a lot of different things, and some of them work, some of them don't. Really like John Malkovich a lot.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's probably the best one.
So far.
Steve Carell is good, but it's a little bit different. And it's a real deep roster of the stuff that I don't like. The daughter, they never figure that out. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And
I feel like the most uneven character is Ben Schwartz's character.
That's the Ben Schwartz problem. Like, he is so funny in real life, and like he's so good at improv. He has that show on Netflix where he does improv. He's the best. But like in my opinion, the performances he gives and like his casting is just so annoying. Like, I could not stand Jean-Ralphio. Like, I can't stand this guy.
I grew to love John Ralphio.
I never got there. I just find his stuff so annoying. I think he's so funny in real life. But yeah, that character is like... There's like
sometimes
he
he's
has some
like
good
cool,
episodes.
other times he's awful.
Did you finish it or no?
I did finish it, yeah.
Okay, I guess I could say it. My main beef is I think they should have divulged why Lisa Kudrow's in jail. Like,
I wondered for so long. At least at the very end, right?
They purposely
like at some
didn't.
Point?
They purposely didn't do it. I read online, but like, this is a show that I don't know. It might not get a second season, so
I don't know. With the way that people spend money nowadays,
that's
Netflix
true.
is probably just gonna go for it.
I guess,
I'm sure they have good ratings. Like, every time you log in, it says like trending or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
I guess I don't pretend to know that how many people are watching it, but yeah, it probably wasn't as good as I hoped it would be, but it was good enough to enjoy, and certainly an open-ended finale. So I hope they
they can do anything with that.
I hope they get
guess.
the opportunity to keep going. I will keep watching. So.
All right, there's Space Force.
There's Space Force. I also watched MASH last night. Should I talk about that? No, I'm just kidding.
One of my mom's very favorite all-time shows.
It was the movie, actually. Jordan.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I've actually seen one episode of MASH.
I can't say that I've ever watched a whole episode of MASH. I love Alan Alda, so I probably should get into it.
That is true. It is, and it's iconic.
It's iconic. The movie, I talked about movies, like, we talked about 5 movies last week, so we probably don't need to talk about what I've been watching, but I did watch the movie, and it was 6 out of 10, so...
All right. Well, everything for Adam is coming up 6 out of 10 lately.
That's true. Space Force also 6 out of 10, probably. I'll tell you what's not 6 out of 10. This Milwaukee weather, baby. It's so nice.
Oh, great. Shows that people probably aren't watching with us to weather in places where people don't live.
This Milwaukee weather is great. No, things are good. Hanging in there, feeling a little bit better from the last time around. So
that's what I like to hear.
Happy to be talking home improvement with one of my number one pals.
My number one
What
pals,
else you got
huh?
for me? What else do you want to talk to me about before we get in the episode?
I was going to tell you something interesting. I have the DVDs for this season.
Go on.
Yep. And so this last episode 7, I forget even what it was about now. Not So Great Scott.
It's about...
Not So Great.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. So that was the end of the first disc. So I put in the second disc, and that means we're 25% of the way through season 8.
Okay, wow. That is... So 75... Wow, that is wild.
It's a 4-discer.
It is... I would have guessed it was a 4-discer. That's...
A lot of the other ones are 3-discers. This one's a 4-discer.
Well, you got that 3-part finale, you know?
Is it 3?
2 or 3. What's the squealing, squeaking in your background? What do you got going on there?
Well, that's... Remember, what was his name? Sir Porky or something?
I don't remember. Tell me more.
From A Christmas Prince? You don't remember the pig?
No, I don't remember a lick of that.
That was one of the best episodes we've ever done.
A
Christmas Prince.
If you've got squeaky hinges on your door, here's a life hack: WD-40. And that's where my home improvement.
It's on my chair, actually. I've been trying to adjust it, and it's just squeaky.
Okay.
So
all right.
maybe I'm just going to stand the rest of the episode.
Standing desk, I've heard standing podcasting is kind of the new trend. So.
What do you know about Meet Me in St. Louis?
The movie?
1944 film.
Judy Garland?
It was just on... We just started a trial of Watch or AT&T TV or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. It's like $15 a month, and it has all of Andrea's favorite channels like Hallmark and HGTV and Food Network. But it also has TCM, which is pretty rare for like those budget streaming options.
We're rolling into St. Louis, Missouri, where I know a guy that's got ribs that are to die for. What do I know about Meet Me in St. Louis? Kirsten has seen it and likes it, and I remember she said last Christmas, I think it's a Christmas movie.
It has some Christmas stuff in there for sure. It's like a seasonal thing, almost like, how La La Land goes through seasons.
I do know like that, yeah. Almost like It's a Wonderful Life goes through seasons, more or less, right? I mean, pretty much. I've never seen it. So that kind of kills that conversation, but I'd like to.
Well, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't know if you would love it. It's pretty musical, which I don't necessarily love, but it's turn of the century stuff.
Isn't
I like
there a
turn of the
big
century
Christmas
stuff.
song that came out of that?
Yeah. Isn't it like I'll Be Home for Christmas or something? No, that's not right.
That's a big one. I believe it was.
We wish you a Merry Christmas, Jingle Bells?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
I think
name
it was Hark the Herald. No, I'm just kidding.
Silent Night?
Yeah, it was one of those good ones.
It's Christmas in June, baby.
Yeah, I know that baseball teams will often do, like, at Comerica Park, they used to do Christmas in July. This is kind of our tribute to that.
Very impromptu.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I watched lately, and
cool.
Enjoyed it again for the second time.
Seen it twice. I can think of a lot of movies you haven't seen once, but it's good you can take that one in twice.
Well, you just have to kind of catch me in the right mood.
Catch me if you
That's the problem.
Catch you if I can. I'll tell you what I caught was this episode of Home Improvement called Tim's First Car. Should we get into it?
Episode 184. Can you believe it? Written by...
Freaking felt like it, let me tell you.
Written by Kim Flagg. This Is this the first? No, this is one of two for her. Yeah, this is her first
I was
on
gonna
the
say,
show.
I
She has
have
another one later.
Not heard that name before.
It is funny because I can recognize the writers' names.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's what happens when you watch 184 episodes. 4 writing credits to Kim's name. She's done some Last Man Standing, but she's mostly like... Seems like she's behind the scenes because I did a little bit more digging on Kim Flagg, and she has professionally collaborated with Tim Allen over the last 15 years as a ghostwriter, comedy writer, speechwriter. She worked with him on his 2 books, Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man, I'm Not Really Here, and developed 2 pilot sitcoms while heading up television development for his company, Boxing Cat Productions. So it seems like they're linked, you know?
It's
I
interesting.
thought that was kind of always behind the scenes. Like, she doesn't have a very robust IMDb profile for all the stuff she's doing, but she co-wrote this one with David Maples, who last did Futile Attraction, where Heidi and Al get it on, kind of.
Well, that episode stinks, so...
Well, you love this one, and this one was aired November 10th, 1998.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Did you see that did you see that they recycled this into a Last Man Standing episode, pretty much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that at
me
all.
either. I wonder how often that happens. I don't watch enough Last Man Standing to see if they do that a lot, but I bet it's happened more than just this one time.
At least certain plot points.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm looking at my alternative titles. I haven't looked at them in a couple of days.
Yeah.
They are horrendous.
Yeah, I think this is a case where I definitely lowered myself to the material. For sure. I do have 5, but yeah, they suck.
All right. Well, I think, yeah, I see 4 commas here, so that's where I'm at.
Okay, yeah. Let me start then, if you don't mind.
I don't.
Okay, here we go. The Corveyor Betrayer.
I have a Corvair one as well. The Corvair is out of hair.
Explain that one to me.
The Corvair gets crushed.
Did you say out of air or out of hair?
Out of hair, which is supposed to be here, but you had to make it rhyme, so.
Oh, Jordan, that's pretty illogical. I hope it's up from there.
That's what I would call poetic license.
That is what I would call confusing. Okay. Zaza boring.
I thought you were gonna go with a Zaza Pachulia joke.
Nah, that's a reference to my feelings on this episode. Boring.
All right, I wrote coming to a campus near you.
Okay, Brad. I watched this last night and I don't remember a ton of it. That doesn't bode well. Okay.
I think you were just waiting for the trailer to keep going. Brad. You're like, I'm hooked. Keep going.
In a world where a high schooler wants to play college soccer. Larry the crappy car guy. It's supposed to be like a Larry the Cable Guy thing. If you gotta explain it, it ain't working, right?
What about when a car isn't just a car?
That's good. Okay. Here's one. The Junkyard Dog. D-A-W-G.
You didn't have to spell it. I know what you were doing.
Just making sure.
Snuggles.
I have one more.
MVP? Snuggles? I got one more, too.
Okay. Yeah, Snuggles, you're the real MVP. Go ahead.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Feels like something you maybe have done before, but...
No, it's just a popular phrase.
Oh, I've just heard it before. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
I mean, often you don't know these phrases.
That one I'm familiar with, yeah. This is probably the only one I feel that good about.
Okay.
Which means you probably won't like it, but... Physician, healy thyself.
What?
Okay, so like, perhaps there's a saying that you don't know. Physician, heal thyself. So I just changed it to
I've never heard that.
Well, hey, guess the shoe's on the other foot.
I guess. Is there a doctor in this episode?
Healy. The car.
Yeah, I get the Austin Healy part.
That she got rid of.
I wondered if there was a doctor reference as well.
Okay, it's like...
Is there a doctor in the house?
She gets rid of the Healy in an attempt to make a situation better. So she's kind of like healing the situation. I don't know, man. It's episode 184. We're all just...
This is why I missed you.
I think... You never heard the saying, physician, heal thyself?
I actually haven't.
Interesting. I'm not sure what context it's used in, but I know it's a saying.
Well, we're not going to do any more research on it, but hopefully one of our listeners will let us know.
Please.
What we're going to do. Please. You're pleading. Tool time on location. We're at a junkyard. We're at Hernando's junkyard. Ever been?
Yeah, a couple times.
Can't say I have, but Larry now heads up the place. I guess Hernando passed away. Some jokes about how he was like buried in an ashtray nearby. Not very good. Tim used to hang out here all the time, so this is a junkyard he knows really well. And somehow, I mean, assuming he went here, let's say like 20 years ago, I don't know, maybe 25 years ago, the dog is still there from his youth, basically. So Snuggles is ancient.
Yeah.
He still doesn't love Tim, though. We learned that Larry is an organized fella. He can basically tell you where any car part is in the whole junkyard. I don't know. What do you think about Larry here? You like him?
No, I didn't like Larry at all. I didn't like this scene at all. I'll give you a bio on Larry. How about that?
Yeah, you might as well.
Larry's played by Dennis Berkeley. Sadly passed away in 2013 at the age of 67. How many credits to his name? 136. That's a lot.
Unbelievable.
Best known for films Hollywood Homicide, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, Tin Cup, and No Way Out.
Wow.
Did the voice of Principal Moss on 36 episodes of King of the Hill. My Name is Earl. Appearances before he passed away. Also playing a junkyard owner. So this was kind of what he liked to do. There's a lot of work here. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, I think he carved out a lot of work for himself. In this, no, I don't really like him a ton, but it's the writing mostly. I think he probably is a fine junkyard owner in terms of an actor.
I mean, he's so good that he got to do another one in a different show, so...
Yeah, I don't really like to criticize people that have passed away at kind of a young age, so he's fine.
Larry takes Tim and Al and Heidi over to a car crusher. You take a car down to about 12 inches, which is not something we see later in the show. We see something quite different.
Right.
They take a look at like future cars that are going to be crushed, and Tim finds his old Corvair. Mm-hmm. And right then and there, he has to decide if he wants to buy the car or not, because Larry can't guarantee how long it's going to be there.
Larry should be able to, though, right? Like, wouldn't that be just kind of easy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just like, hey, I'll put a tag on this one. That means don't touch it.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Snuggles pops up at the end, and I was wondering if he was kind of like giving some support to Tim. I don't know. He doesn't look that angry.
Does Snuggles fake talk, or is that just like a... I don't know. I felt like as the scene was ending, they like inserted like a Snuggles sound effect. Did you get that at all?
Yeah, it seems like they did like a cutscene type of thing. You know? Like in those episodes where there's like ghosts that pop up.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Okay. Are you done talking about this?
Only if you want me to be.
I'll keep going.
No, I don't have anything else. What could I possibly say besides that?
I have a couple things to add. Tim does a weird, like racist Asian impression at the beginning of the scene, but I didn't.
What does he say? Oh, he was talking about.
I don't even know the joke.
Oh, well, he's talking about old like ships that are called junkers.
Yeah, so that was bad.
Is that racist?
He does an Asian, like the
he does like an accent type of thing.
Yeah, the voice is like what you would. Yeah, the caricature.
Yeah, not great.
No, everything is computerized. Larry doesn't need one. I think this is a really, really bad opening scene. Like, I didn't get anything out of this. I wondered in the moment if it was one of the worst ones I'd ever seen. I'm not sure if I'm feeling that strongly now, but I did like, and this is as a WMU grad, that Tim recognizes a WMU parking sticker in his. Bless you! Wow. Did you put your mouth around the mic as you did that, or?
I actually turned away.
That was loud. I liked the WMU parking sticker in Tim's car because I had one of those in my car.
Do you still have it?
No, that was like, a long time ago. 10, 12 years.
How old are you, Adam?
30.
When were you born?
30. 30 years old.
Well, that is good. It's always good when you get to call back college. Did it send you down memory lane? Where you used to park at WMU?
Extremely briefly. Then I thought of all the parking tickets that I got there, and I tried to think of something else. So
It seems like it's a thing on college campuses.
I tell you what, yeah, I think they really cash in on like lazy college kids that don't read signs or don't follow the rules. I feel like I've got so many parking tickets in college.
Yeah, it's not great.
All right.
That was the thing Michigan State was all about as well. You want to take the next scene?
Yeah. Did you think that first scene was really bad?
Not as bad as you did,
Interesting.
actually.
Okay. What did you like about it?
I don't know that I liked anything, but I have this feeling now that I go in with such low expectations that it's really hard to make me be like, oh, that was the worst thing in the world.
I'd like to be more like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good way to live life, I'll tell you that.
Next scene, home. Mark is videotaping his mother. He's on week
man.
4 of his suburban family shoot. Jill's studying, and he's just kind of taking shots at her, like calling her pathetic and stuff for like trying to go back to school. Man, I didn't care.
Mark has really turned into, I don't know, he's just kind of mean
that way
in this episode.
It was mean, and also like I don't know, like what's he making fun of? Initiative or like she's gonna have a great job when she's done. Mark, you're just like some.
When she's done, it's been 8 seasons. That's the joke he should have made.
That's true. Yeah, he's like, wasn't this supposed to be a 2-year degree? You're taking your time. Brad comes home from soccer practice. Jill mentions an app for application for the University of Pennsylvania. They're really cycling through these colleges. First it was
North Carolina, then UCLA.
Yes, then University of Pennsylvania.
He's just trying to put feelers out everywhere. He's a sought-after student.
Good choice, I guess. A lot of guys on the team are doing like video applications, which I couldn't tell if it was meant to be different than like a highlight reel, because that would be essential, I would think, for a college scholarship. But I guess it's different in so much as they're doing like video interviews. So Brad wants to do his own version of that. Jill's got a bright idea. Got this little videographer in the house with not much to do. Hey,
yes,
perfect marriage.
put him to work.
Perfect marriage. Mark's gonna do it for him. And this is, I kind of was. At first, I appreciated this because last week, or I can't remember if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about like things they could have Mark do. Well, this is definitely a thing to have him do. Doesn't work out real well, but at least it's something. Tim comes home from the junkyard. He got Jill a present. This is the Zsa Zsa Gabor perfume, I think. She knows immediately he wants another car. It's only $165, but to restore it, you need to have space, you need to have more time, you need to have money, etc. And Jill says, we just can't afford it.
Yeah, she starts asking the practical questions, and Tim doesn't want to hear it. And then you mention that he says that it's his first car to her at all?
I did not mention that, but he does say it. Not right away, but
towards the end,
yeah.
And then she's just like, we have other money-costing priorities, basically. So, shut down.
I mean, is this upper middle class, or what is this? This is the first time I've heard them reference, like, money concerns in a long time.
Not having enough.
Yeah,
it's because they're supporting Randy in Costa Rica.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, he's got his NPR subscription is not inexpensive.
And they can see that Brad's not going to get a scholarship because he's a goof.
It is starting to seem that way. Yeah, little by little. The colleges are, I don't know about University of Pennsylvania, if that's even...
It's an Ivy League school.
Okay,
Penn.
It is. All right. That's Penn. I guess that would be Penn. Yeah, I don't know about that, Brad. Again, I don't know why we're not considering like Saginaw Valley State University or something like that, but...
Yeah, he could still get a free education, but he's got his sights on bigger things.
Yeah.
Later, Mark is working on setting up the video. He's got like a bunch of trophies on the table. We see Brad's hardware.
Yeah.
Seems like he's pretty successful. Brad comes down with, I don't know really how to describe it. I guess over-gelled hair.
Yeah.
It looks bad. And they're talking about, okay, what are you going to say in the video? What's your application going to be like? And Brad says, don't worry, I'll wing it. Mm-hmm. And he starts out with, yo, 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 I'm Brad, I'm bad, and this is my pad.
Yep.
And I loved it.
Oh, you like that? Okay.
I thought this was a good moment. I thought it was pretty funny.
Man.
I like when Brad does stupid stuff like this.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It calls back to the Right Stuff episode, you know?
What, the Hey Yo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Brad persona.
Okay, keep going.
Jill comes in, and he, like, kind of grabs her into the video. I always make time for my main mom. Mm-hmm. Does that mean he has several moms? It's confusing.
Yeah.
But Jill is like, this kind of sucks right away. Mm-hmm. Tim comes in, shares about his car, and that it got crushed, or is that what happened?
Not yet.
Or just shares why he wants the car.
Yeah, he's not allowed to.
My notes are sparse.
He's not allowed to get it. That's the problem.
Okay,
yeah.
That's it. He's complaining more about the car.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, it is.
You don't like yo, I'm Brad, I'm bad. This is my pad.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Why didn't I? I don't know. It just seems stupid.
Your expectations are too high, man.
I don't think they are. I don't know. I think yeah, I don't know. So maybe it's a situation where I just wasn't in the right mood. But I honestly, I'll say this now. I don't think I laughed at a single line in this episode. I just didn't. I didn't get much out of it. I think that this episode makes not so great Scott look like Citizen Kane. If I'm being honest. Next scene.
What an endorsement for Not So Great Scott.
Next scene, fence. Well, hey, I guess we gotta play a clip. I mean, come on.
We oughta.
Hey, Wilson.
Well, top of the morning to you, Taylor lass.
What are you doing there?
Oh, some friends of mine from Ireland are getting married. I'm building them a wedding arch.
It's really beautiful.
Well, thank you very much. So, how are things over in Taylorville?
Well, for starters, Tim got me a Gabor Sisters beauty sampler.
He bought another car, huh?
He's pushing for it. He found a shell in a junkyard, and he doesn't have the time or the money to spend on it, and we have no place to store it, but just because it's his first car, he thinks it's this really big deal.
No, wait, whoa, just a second. Tim found his first car.
Apparently, you think it's a big deal, too?
Yeah, I would kill for my first car. You know, it was a little Morris Minor. I'll never forget it. Gosh, I miss it.
Keep a picture of it in your wallet. What is the deal with men in their first cars?
Well, Jill, sometimes in our society, a young man's self-image is defined by his first automobile.
No, you're saying that men define who they are as human beings by 4 wheels and an engine? Don't you think that's kind of shallow?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, of course you don't. You're one of them.
No, the first car represents freedom and independence. I tell you, there's nothing more exhilarating for a young man than getting behind the wheel of the car, revving up that engine, racing off to his first Mozart festival. Well, maybe that's just me.
I don't get it. I guess it's just because I was never emotionally attached to a car.
Well, Jill, have you ever had any rite of passage that showed your independence?
Yeah, when I moved out of my parents' house and got my own apartment.
Ah.
It was so cute. I had these Doobie Brothers posters plastered all over the walls. And this water bed that would slosh whenever I was... Did I mention the Doobie Brothers posters?
Yes. Yes, you did. Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that to Tim, this is way more than a rusted hunk of metal.
Yes, just think of it as your apartment without the sloshing.
Wilson built a wedding arch for his friends in Ireland. How come you didn't ask me to build you a wedding arch? I'd have done it.
I was just going to ask you what's taking you so long.
To build a wedding arch? Yeah, I don't know. Good question.
To get under a wedding arch.
Oh no, you're going there, huh? It's so funny. No one brings that up to me ever. So it's good that you would.
Oh, that's a bummer that happens to you.
It does, yeah.
Did that happen a lot at Houghton Lake?
No.
You want to talk about it on
It
air?
didn't happen a lot, but it's just like it's certainly
It's always in the air for you, isn't it?
It's always close. It's always close.
It's like a vulture circling you with
I have
the dead
to
carcass.
take control of conversations to sort of veer away from that. Yeah, I mean, it's. I guess you hit a certain age, and that's the expectation. Yeah, so wedding arches. I'd like to talk more about those instead. Car situation. Wilson, Jill explains the car situation, the conundrum she faces with Tim. God forbid Jill,
What a conundrum.
yeah, God forbid Jill ever just like say no to him, like she feels so guilty because she told him no. It's like, I don't know. Don't really ever do that. Wilson seems to really understand. He knows the importance of a guy's first car. We've certainly talked about our first cars on the show, I believe. But
I imagine we must have.
yeah, I mean, I guess because we are not, gearheads, I didn't really my car was not an identity for me. I'm guessing it wasn't the same for you. Or
No,
I'm guessing it was the same for you.
Yeah, well, a couple things. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a surprise to me that Wilson has a picture of his car in his wallet. I'll say that. Doesn't seem like he'd be that type of guy. But, yeah, I mean, I liked my first car. But my first car, like, I don't know. I switched that out between that car and other cars so many times because it had issues that maybe I just didn't get attached to it.
Yeah.
That's I don't know.
Okay. I was a little disappointed. If you're going to do the Wilson picture of his car gag, can't we see it? Like, can't we get something visual out of that? They could have had some fun photoshopping. I don't know. Maybe he's like, got a car parked next to like the pyramids of Egypt or something. That would have been funny.
Or he's like a Flintstone car.
Yeah. Oh, that would have really been funny. His car is like, I don't know. Yeah, I can't beat that. That was good. What else we got here? More. I was noticing, this season, maybe last season, more instances of Jill confiding in Wilson at the fence than before.
Yeah. Tim has had enough to say. There's nothing else for Tim to say.
They're like, we don't have any other ideas for that.
Also, just every episode, there is definitely some more sexual innuendo in this season than there ever has been.
Talking about sloshing?
Sloshing, baby.
Jill, Wilson tries to draw parallels between Jill's life and something that she was attached to early on, and it was her first apartment, so she was describing Doobie Brothers posters in a waterbed that sloshed when she... ... Question mark. That's it. It's graphic, and then we get even more sloshing later. So
I think it's very graphic later.
Do you think she
as graphic as you can go?
Do you think she had fish in it, like that hotel in Goofy movie, goldfish?
Don't you dare taint my Goofy movie memories, okay?
Hey man, there's no sloshing in Goofy movie that I'm aware of.
I don't think so. All right. Later, Mark is filming Brad again. We see just kind of the end, where it sounds like Brad is doing a little bit better, and then he ends it with, like, hasta la vista, baby.
He's pretty boastful here.
He can't get out of his own way. Yeah. Jill comes in. Tim is distracting himself with cooking. He's, like, chopping up some celery or something, trying to keep his mind off of the car. And Jill unexpectedly comes up and says, buy the car. Wilson's going to store it for you.
Yeah, that was really fast. This episode's weird because, like, I thought, like, that was the whole conflict, and then we're, like, halfway through, and she says, yeah, go ahead and get it, and I'm thinking, like, where are we going with this? And man, was I pleasantly surprised. No.
Yeah, heads up, here comes a curveball.
Wow, yeah. Okay, yeah, next. Also, Wilson storing the car, that's pretty generous.
It is pretty generous. You don't know how long it's going to take Tim to do that.
Probably a couple seasons at least, based on previous experiences.
From what we've seen of Wilson's garage, I don't think he can fit 2 cars in there.
How many cars has Tim restored since the show started? 2 or 3?
3, I think.
Okay, so this would be 4?
We had the first hot rod. We had the Healy.
Yeah.
I feel like we had one more.
Whatever, who cares? Next scene.
Ask a question without consequences.
Junkyard, we're back. No Larry this scene, correct?
I don't think so. It's a very quick scene.
Yeah, well, it's just Snuggles and Tim kind of uniting, and
it feels so good.
Yeah, it was very satisfying. Snuggles is he's a basset hound. I like that kind of dog. It's a handsome dog. Yeah, the car goes through the crusher. It's bad timing. Just missed it just a couple seconds earlier, and probably could have prevented it. But
if you ask me, Larry's like pushing it through.
I think Larry doesn't like Tim. Yeah, because like earlier he says, you better hurry up and like commit to this because I can't put your car, in an area where it won't get smashed. And then he just goes ahead and does it anyways.
And Tim is like mocking him earlier, so I would say he's got a motive.
Oof, yeah, I would say so too. It doesn't get smashed down to like 12 inches, like you said. Just gets smashed like a regular car.
That surprised me.
You thought?
Why would they do that?
Oh, why did they say that?
Like, why? I mean, at one point in the show, they shrunk Tim and Al down to fit inside like an engine.
That was cool. Yeah.
It was cool. They couldn't figure out how to put this into like a small, 12 by 12 or whatever.
It would have been funny if they could have got the size of like a Rubik's Cube, and then Tim comes home and Jill's like, "Did you get your car?" And then he slams this hunk of metal on the table. Like, that's a good joke. Why don't they do that? Man, I have so many better ideas than the writers this week. Go ahead.
All right, back home with Jill. Tim does not have a block or Rubik's Cube as you suggested, but he does share what happened. And he says, "I'm an idiot. It's his own fault. He should have just bought it whenever he was thinking about it." Okay, you didn't at least have a little smile here when she says, like, "Do you want some tea?" And he's like, "No." And then she says, "Do you want a brat?" And his eyebrows raise.
Yeah,
like
I
that?
mean, it was okay.
It was okay. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Car crusher is a Binford. That's the irony.
That's not bad either. I mean, did I smirk at the Binford thing?
That's what did you smirk? Is that all? I mean, what else do you expect? How often have you laughed out loud during this whole 184 episode run?
Sometimes
when it's not like you or me doing something stupid.
I would say I'm not a difficult laugh. I'm really not. So I don't know. Usually a couple times an episode,
That's why we make such great friends.
I'll do something like this. Or I didn't do that once in this one. Even in Not So Great Scott, I at least kind of went, so. Those are all from a soundboard, by the way.
It sounds like it. It's pretty good.
Rolling out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where we got some cheeseheads that know how to make heads of cheese.
All right. Brad comes down. Jill wonders what to do, and Brad gives a good idea. She says, I think Tim left at this point or something.
Seems like it.
Yeah, because otherwise this doesn't make a lot of sense in my notes. Brad says buy an old car frame, and Jill enlists Brad to help unwillingly. So not only is Mark doing things for his mother that he doesn't want to do, now Brad has to, too.
I like it when Brad is like, yeah, you could check the internet. It's just like, it doesn't really roll off the tongue. It's like you could check outer space,
As long as they stay out of Snake Chat, I think they're going to be fine.
Ooh, Snake Chat. That's one of my favorite places to be.
You got to stay out of there.
Mongoose 12. Home. Working on finding the car, Brad and Jill at the table. They call the president of the Corvair Club.
Gunther.
He's a German guy. Is that the joke here?
Oh, a lot of them. Lots of German jokes
so
here.
they hit it pretty hard. I didn't get any of them down, but he has something that they just might be interested in, and that's where the scene ends. Foreshadowing.
Oh man, back on Tool Time. Binford is, besides crushing cars and selling tools, they do good things like starting a program to get kids off the streets in restoring old cars before they go to the junkyard. They provide the tools, you provide the cars. So they do a little adopt-a-car phone bank marathon type thing. There's some bidding going on. The phone rings after they talk about one car. But then things slow down, and so Tim tries to up the ante a little bit. How about if you call now and you buy this car, you get lunch with the tool man. Crickets. Can you believe it, Adam?
I was pretty surprised.
Pretty surprised. They don't move right to Al, they move right to Heidi. And as soon as he mentions lunch with Heidi, phones just start lighting up.
I'm sure Heidi really appreciated that.
Yeah, perfect. She answered the phone.
That's true.
After what she had going on with Scott, I think she's ready to go on a lunch date.
Seriously, yeah, Scott, I mean, he probably got her another owl pendant or something. All right, home. Tim comes in. He's kind of just pissed because the garage door won't open. He's chewing Jill out. It's
he's had a rough day at work. I guess people didn't adopt that many cars.
Take it easy, Tim. She says, hey, why don't you go check out the garage and see why it won't open? Well, Jordan, come to find out, real surprising, Jill got a 1966 Corvair in great condition. She bought it. Nope, actually, she traded her Healy for it.
Oh my gosh.
She got ripped, according to Tim. Tim's reaction is hard to read. At first, I thought, didn't like it. Then I thought he liked it, and then come to find out he feels just sort of guilty. Maybe I couldn't really tell. Tim knows.
I think maybe he has mixed emotions, which makes it a good reaction.
That is true because I did just describe that. Mm-hmm. Tim knows Gunter.
Who doesn't? He's the leader of the Corvair Club.
Yeah. He's got to take it back. He wanted his car, not just a Corvair. He likes restoring it, having this nice car. It just doesn't do it for him. But Jill.
Do you think someday you're gonna be like, boy, I don't remember what your first car is. I think it's a Grand Prix.
Bonneville. You're gonna be like, I want that 1990 Bonneville, and I'll be like, I want that 1994. I don't even know what I had now. Pontiac something. I liked my first car, but no, I
go back and restore it.
I would be happy to drive the car I have right now for the rest of my life. If the car would allow for it, I would do that.
What car do you have now, Adam?
Chevy Cruze.
What color?
Black.
What's the license plate number?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I got some things I want to spray paint on it. That's all.
Oh no! Tagging my car. No, I don't care about cars. Like I wouldn't. I don't know. It's yeah. Okay, so Jill understands. She's very understanding. This episode is like, I don't know. It's just frustrating to me because she like says no, and then changes her mind.
No means no.
No, it doesn't. In this episode, it does not mean no. It means check back in an hour. After
I talked to Wilson,
she changes her mind, gets in the car. Then he's like, I don't want this. And then they got to take it back. I don't know. Just stupid. Imagine they hop in the car before they return it to Gunter. Hopefully Gunter takes it back, by the way. Like, I don't know. Some people wouldn't.
Buyer beware.
For real. They have an imaginary trip in the old car, and they relive some of their glory days. They saw an Omen and Exorcist double feature. That would be scary. That's a lot of
sounds
horror.
awful.
It's a lot of horror. And this is where we get that patented home improvement thrust sexual big sex energy ending. Yeah.
I think thrust is the right word. Yeah, they make some sloshing jokes.
Well,
so.
He had his head buried in her chest the whole time.
That's right.
And he says, was it because you were scared? And he says, yeah, because I don't know who's saying what, but there's a joke about the Sound of Music. He had his head buried in her chest then, and then they sloshed.
And he said the hills were alive.
The hills were alive, and then they sloshed in her bed, a.k.a., well, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it's
so at this point, Adam and I are wondering to our moms, as 8-year-olds, you let us watch this filth? How dare you?
I was watching way worse than this. Yeah, I was watching way worse than this. Go ahead, take that last bit of this. If you don't mind.
We're gonna see the finished product of Brad's film, but only the end. So we're not actually gonna see it.
I wonder if this was the whole thing, kind of.
Well, yeah, the way they describe it is, it's just like video.
10 seconds.
Like the highlight film, and then he's talking for about 2 seconds. So Brad apparently gave many, many interviews, but Mark only used one line. Tim suggests he's got something else for Mark to do. Let's do a behind the scenes on Tool Time, and Mark burns him. He says he's not a magician.
And Tim says, if I was a magician, I'd make you disappear.
I'm going to cut your head off. I'm going to saw you in half for real this time.
Real credits, fade to black. Tim's first car, a.k.a. I seem to have lost all my alternative titles.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Oh, Physician Healy Thyself is another one as well. Yeah, Jordan, let's head on down to Castle's Corner. I'm going to let you talk here in the beginning because I sense you got a little more out of this one than me.
I mean, I don't imagine that I got a lot out of this.
Just say it. It's your favorite episode ever, okay?
I just have lower standards at this point in the game, so I don't expect very much.
My standards are not that high. This episode sucks.
I will say what is interesting, there's a lot of episodes we watch and I don't remember. I do remember at least Snuggles. I remember Snuggles. I seem to remember this junkyard stuff, so I guess it made a lasting memory for me.
Well, I remember Larry, of course.
Do you actually remember this episode at all?
Not at all, no.
No. Okay. So yeah, that's weird to know. I don't know why I remember this, but Yeah, Mark doing whatever, not particularly interesting. At least they give him something to do with the camera. Get him, away from just, like, filming his camera and making snarky comments. I do like the Brad stupid hey yo character, so I always get a little bit of a chuckle out of that. But yeah, as you talked about throughout the whole episode, it's like, is Jill really, like, mad to start with, and then how easy her feelings change around talking to Wilson's? I don't find Wilson keeping his car believable, and yes, it was a missed opportunity. Is this an interesting episode? I would say no. So yeah, it's not very good, but I don't know. What do you expect? Sorry, that's where I'm at this point. If there's like a mildly good episode, it's gonna blow me away.
It sounded like you were standing at the edge of a cliff as you said all that in preparation to just
Gunther was gonna push me over.
No, I didn't like this episode. I'm not gonna give any highs because I didn't have any. Well, I should try to give one high. I suppose
You're just like Jill. You can't make a decision.
I suppose Larry was well cast as a junk.
I didn't mind Larry.
Guy. I didn't mind him. Lowe's. I don't know, the Mark and Brad stuff. I just didn't like it. I don't know. Like if this is what you can do with Mark, I mean, this is what you can do with Mark, but it just isn't very good. And then I thought maybe we were going to see a little bit more in the conclusion, and it's just a real short video. I didn't find the Brad stuff to be that funny. It wasn't like terrible, but I don't know. I don't know. Didn't get much out of it. Jill's, I don't know. Her, I just didn't like the conceit of the episode. She says no. The car gets demolished. She changes her mind. The car gets demolished. She gets him a car. He says it's just like, I don't know, annoying back and forth. What are we doing here? Wilson seemed not good. Tool time segments, neither one offered me any joy whatsoever. I would say that the telethon thing was, I don't know, we didn't really touch on that, but that's pretty bad. Just like there's no humor there. Gunther, German jokes, Corveyor, sloshing. None of it's for me, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But I'm hopeful for next week.
Just wait till you hear the episode title.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm excited.
I guess we got to start the car and leave Castle's Corner and move on to the social media aspect of the show.
Yes.
Adam, we got a new review.
What? Go ahead and read it.
So this review comes to us from a Michael Leonick, maybe. I hope I said your name right, Michael. But Michael gave us 5 stars, and he says, great podcast is the title, so this is going to be good.
That's the best title, really. It
doesn't get
have
any...
titled it any better, Michael. Good start.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for titles on reviews, yeah, that kind of just grabs you right in, right?
I'm in, yeah.
Michael says, I started listening to this podcast at around episode 60, and I'm now on episode 116. Should we recommend that Michael goes back to episode 1 through 59?
I was wondering about that. You know what? I'm so happy to have the review, and I do know what Michael says here, and the words are kind, so as far as I'm concerned, he can do whatever he wants. I would say episodes 1 through 40, you could skip. Maybe 40 through 60, we figure out what we're doing a little bit. I don't know.
I know that 1 through, probably 20 is the worst audio quality any podcast has ever had.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I remember that.
All right, anyways, Michael continues. Both Adam and Jordan do a great job of keeping the podcast light and fun. If you're reading this review and haven't given this podcast a 5-star rating, along with a good written review, you should, because they deserve it. Keep up the good work, Adam and Jordan. Best of luck with the remainder of this podcast and your other ventures as well. Thanks, Michael.
That's got to be one of the nicer reviews we've ever gotten, I would say.
Michael just seems like a genuine guy.
I'll tell you what, Michael. I appreciate that. And I would say, yeah, we love the written reviews. I'll even just take 5 stars, though. Either one is good, but Michael's kind words were very, very appreciated.
They were. Adam, what are your other ventures that he's wishing you best of luck in?
Mostly like Bitcoin, crypto stuff. What about you?
I I don't think I have
Aren't
any
you
at this point.
You're still pretty into like ventriloquism, right?
Well, it's we talk about like my bowling gags that I used to do.
Yeah.
This is something I'm added to the old repertoire.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Cool.
Cool. They can call me. What was that? Jeff Dunham.
Yes.
He's
Jeff Dunham.
he's my mentor.
Oh, Jeff. Yeah. I know you guys are peers.
In regards to something else we got from a fan, she wrote just a sweet email.
Yeah.
Saying she was a new listener, grew up with the show, has been really enjoying listening to us, and Home Improvement means so much to her. Keeping it alive, reliving her childhood, all that kind of stuff makes it feel special. And then Angela, she also asked us a very interesting question that we're going to answer next episode on air. So, Angela, thanks for writing that in, and look forward to the answer.
Yeah, it's a good week when you can get two nice messages from listeners. We always like that. So it was.
I think people are starting to get sentimental because we're getting towards the end.
I think that you might be onto something.
If you've ever wanted to write something nice to us, now's the time to do it, because after the show's over, we're not going to come back on and read something. I mean, Adam might, but I'm not. And Adam probably wouldn't know how to do it.
The finale, I could record it. As far as getting it out there, yeah, it might be hard. I would probably just reach out to people directly and send them like MP3 clips. Yeah, Jordan,
Can I have your email?
I'm a freaking idiot, I guess. Is that what you're saying? This podcast might end sooner than we thought.
Oh, no. You're all full of hot air. No, I know that.
No. Yeah, do say nice things to us because...
Because we can't say them to each other.
Because we like it, yeah. Twitter time?
Yeah, I mean, reach out to us on the Home Impodcast, or you can email us at homeimpodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter at Home Impodcast, so you can send your nice things our way there. Leave us a review like Michael did, and you can support us on patreon.com/homeimpodcast. We're going to be doing an episode on Galaxy Quest coming up real soon. Mm-hmm. Adam, now you can talk about Twitter.
Yeah, one other thing. We've been getting, YouTube messages. I'm not real good on the YouTube stuff, Jordan. But I believe it's a listener, Matthew Parlett, has been sending us.
Yeah, he did write something interesting.
That's been nice. Where were you on that one?
Well, I thought you would handle it because you answered it, which surprised me because you are not very good on the old YouTube stuff.
There's a difference between being good and just not being interested. But when someone reaches out directly, I'm there. But Matthew, keep it up on the YouTube, and maybe we'll address.
You want me to read his comment real quick?
Yeah, why don't you?
All right. So Matthew wrote in regards to Not So Great Scott, our last episode. He said, enjoyed the episode, guys, and definitely an odd episode, which is kind of a conclusion we came to there. So ends really abruptly with quite the happy ending with no real conflict for some big issues in it. Wilson's stuff seemed odd, and it's not helpful, but Jill is surprised that she's a good listener when she's a psychologist was a jump for Matt as well. So, yeah, an episode full of big leaps, says Matt, and sounds like he could host the show better than us.
Better than one of us. Yeah, that was funny in that episode how Jill is like, you know what? I am good at listening. I should be a psychiatrist. Oh, no, wait. I'm trying to be one. That's right. For the last 6 years. That was stupid. But yeah, thanks, Matt, for reaching out. And, always nice to hear from a fan. All right, let's get to Twitter.
Jeez.
Polls this week. Last 2 weeks, actually. Which Home Improvement Halloween episode is best? I could only choose 4, Jordan. So I had to whittle it down. 43 total votes. The options were Haunting of Taylor House, Crazy for You, I Was a Teenage Taylor, and Bewitched. What do you think won?
So we came up with Crazy for You, if I recall.
We did, yep.
That was our favorite. Mm-hmm. But what was the other one besides Haunting Taylor, Bewitched, and Crazy for You?
I Was a Teenage Taylor.
Oh, I don't think people like that one as much. I'm going to say Crazy for You.
Coming in at 55.8%, Haunting of Taylor House.
Wow, that's a landslide victory.
Yeah, and it was pretty much from the get-go on this one, so people like that. Tied for second. Go ahead.
Do you think they just like the episode title better than the other ones?
I mean, it is the best. Yeah, it's the best. Yeah, that's a fair point. I Was a Teenage Taylor's pretty good too, but Haunting of Taylor House is the best title. You could be onto something, but we'll never know. Tied for second and third place, I Was a Teenage Tailor and Crazy for You, and in last place, Bewitched, 11.6%. The second and third had 16.3% apiece as well. So, landslide, definitely.
Definitely.
All right, this poll sucks, but still got 27 votes, so I don't know. Not going to be too...
Do you remember the days when we would get like 13 votes for your crappy polls
Yeah,
sometimes?
we've ascended into a different, stratosphere.
Quite a stratosphere.
Yeah. Eat your heart out, grunt work. All right. Favorite fictitious Scott?
What?
What other possible poll could I have come up with last week? All right.
Oh man.
27 total votes. I'm just gonna go right into it. 55.6% said Michael Scott. Surprising no one. This surprised me. 25.9% said Heidi's hubby Scott. 11.1% said Scott Evil. And then coming in at last place, they must have watched The Last Dance. 7.4% said Scottie Pippen.
Wow.
My order.
Scotty was not happy with his portrayal in the documentary, and he's definitely not going to be happy with the results of that poll.
Here's the thing, Scotty. I like you as a player, but you got to understand that you made some bad choices during your playing career, especially from a fan, the context of a fan. So he's got to, he's got to own that. But
he seems like a nice dude,
I think he's a nice person. Yeah. My order would be Michael Scott, Scottie Pippen, Scott Evil, Heidi's hubby Scott. Easy.
That's the correct order.
Okay, cool. Other than that, not a ton from us on Twitter. So, yeah,
Adam's been on vacay.
I've been on vacay. I guess there was some... not worth mentioning. So, yeah, that's it for Twitter. Thanks for your interactions. Continue to follow us and vote in really good polls like that Scotty poll. That was a good one. So
super good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've had lots of fan interaction. We've had lots of fun this episode. So now it's time to look at next week's episode.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
I am ready.
It's called Mr. Likeable.
Huh. Okay. I think I know where this is going. So I am looking forward to it.
All right. Perfect. Well, we're going to talk about it next Friday then.
Isn't this the one where Mark is crowned Mr. Universe or something? JK. Jordan, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Listeners, thank you for listening, and I guess I should say, take care.
Take care, everybody.